right. So my name is Jeremy Bucher. I'm the Collections and Archives Manager here at the National Hellenic Museum. And today is July 22nd. Is that the day? July 22nd, 2023. And we are here at the National Hellenic Museum with Bettina Hanna and Bessie Powers to record an oral history about Bessie's life growing up in Greektown. And if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
So I'm Bettina Hanna, formerly Bettina Kokinis, and I am here with my aunt Bessie. I'm very proud to be here with her, and she's one of the best people I've ever met in my life through and through. And are you ready to tell us a few stories about your life growing up in Greektown?
Anything you want.
Okay, so should we start with, tell us about how you were born?
I was born at the same house that all we were in the bedrooms. That was our life there by the tennis court. There's where our bedroom was. I was born 9 months, but I was born only 2.5 pounds. And my mother took me to the hospital and they says, no way, because I had a midwife. My mother had all midwives. So they said they wouldn't do nothing for me. Take her home and put her in a shoebox and rub her with oil every day. And she'll come out of it and grow. And I had long hair when I was born. My mother used to braid it.
Wow.
That's the way.
So what was your address of your house?
615 South Halsted Street, Chicago. They didn't have a...
Yeah. Tell us about the apartment building.
Yes, there were 75 Greek families, and we all were like one family. We used to go in each other's houses and everything. Grew up, we had a nice backyard, swings, territory, and horseshoes. We used to play the horseshoes and kick the can. That was our play. We had nothing. Nothing like regular toys like they have today. That's our way we played in our backyard. We had a good janitor. The woman that owned the buildings, she never cared how much we were paying rent. Would you believe $20 a month?
Wow.
Some at 603 were Victoria, $12 a month.
Your friend, but what was the catch to the $12? Why was it so much cheaper?
Because it used to be office building and all the toilets were outside.
Oh, jeez.
Though they fixed them for individually, but still it was they were outside. That was a doctor's office up there.
Okay.
That's the way.
So we'll come back to this, but just quickly, what was at the bottom of the building with the 75
Okay.
apartments?
We had all Greek stores. The store on the corner was a gunsmith.
Okay.
Then comes the building, and then we had the candle shop Muzakiotis. Sold candle, they sold things for the bride, the headpieces,
Stefana.
and the Stefana, and the candles. And then we went next door, it was a candy shop. The man, Orolala was his name, and he had all Greek pastries, baklava, otoburiko, kuradieres, and he sold penny candies for us. He just had a stand of all penny candies. Then we left that place. We went to Delajanis, the grocery store. There was 3 stores, I think, in one. They had the liquor and they had the right of Metaxa. They had that and the oil.
So they were the only ones selling Metaxa in
Yes,
the
and
United
bringing
States.
it from Greece.
But that
and-
store was at the bottom of the building, right?
That's right. That's all
Okay.
in the bottom of the building. And then we came to our door,
Uh-huh.
and the next one was a tailor, Mike DeLuca. And
Okay.
then next to Mike was a traveling agency, George Veris. And after that, there was the store that my father used to buy furniture that you got the cedar chest.
Okay. Yep.
And then we have the Greek Coffee House.
One big building.
Yes, that's all one.
So where's that building? When did they tear the building down?
63. In 1963, they told us to move because the building's coming down.
Okay.
1963.
And my mother was very upset. My father had just died 2 years ago. And now we had to pack up all our stuff and move and try to find a place, you know? We weren't, there was only 3 of us left, I think, because
Yeah.
the rest all got married.
Yeah.
My brother John, myself, and my mother, and we had my nephew, George Bowles, with us.
Yeah.
So we moved to Madison and Long Avenue. This was my brother-in-law's family lived there. It's a big building on Madison Street. So we thought my mother could have company because she was really down. You know, born in Greece, raised children, never had an out for her at all. My father did everything.
Yeah.
So that's when we left Halsted Street and we moved to Madison Street.
And what is, when they tore down your building, what is at the place of your building now?
The school, the university,
Yeah, what specifically?
uh,
Do you remember?
no.
The tennis courts.
Oh, the tennis court where
Right.
we were born,
Yeah.
and the rest, and the Hall House. There's another thing. The Hall House was something we grew up, didn't walk the street. The kids didn't have no excuse. They played basketball. We cooked, learned how to sew. We used to have dancing every Friday, a quarter. And we used to go there, and even though we didn't know how to dance much, but we did it anyhow. And Jane Addams helped all the people. She had an apartment building right next to the hall. In fact, I think that's left. I don't know. But she helped a lot of people where they had no homes or nothing. And she gave them a place to live. We had the library, very good. We could use it anytime. We had the lunchroom, very cheap. We used to go there if you had nothing, nothing place to eat. And then we had Jane Addams. She died in 1938. Later in the city hall. And we all went, I went anyhow, to her wake.
Oh, wow.
And then she had the country club, Bowen Country Club. 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you had to pay so much to go. Her mother went to all of them, but I never did because I was the youngest one in the family, and my mother didn't let me think I could do it. So,
The youngest daughter.
daughter, the youngest,
But
because
there
there
were
was 4
6.
girls.
4 girls and 2
2
boys.
boys. And I was the youngest of the girls.
Do you want to talk about where you went to grammar school?
Yeah, I went to Dante School,
What was before that?
Socrates, 6 years, at a good school, all Greek teachers, half English, half Greek, and everything. And we used to have sewing there, stitching, the stitching.
Yeah.
For an hour, and then we really got hit on our knuckles. They didn't care. Mr. Andolopoulos, the principal, I got so many times because I didn't listen. I was kind of a bad child, even though I was a girl. Be surprised.
Did you know English when you went to Socrates?
Oh yes, because my sister Catherine,
Yeah.
she didn't know English.
My mom didn't know English when she
Yeah.
went either.
So we went to Socrates, and George and I, my father used to take us with the uniform. He was a conductor motorman, and we wouldn't go to school. He'd take us back home.
He was a conductor motorman for what?
for Clinton and
The,
Halsted.
the streetcar?
Yeah,
He worked on the
that's a
streetcar.
streetcar.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's his job. And he used to come down Halsted Street, and my sister Catherine, that was his child, and she used to say, if anybody threw a rock, oh, my father's gonna get hurt. She used to cry, something terrible, and everything else. So it was really something. Growing up on Halsted Street, I'll tell you, I never forgot it. I was 39 when we moved, and I still cry. I feel bad. It was a good neighborhood. All the people we knew loved each other. We did everything together. I can't complain. And I think, I know, did you ever interview Jean on the corner of the candles place?
Oh no, we haven't gotten an interview
I
with
grew up
them.
with her.
You did?
Oh yes, the whole family lived in the building
Oh,
until the father bought a building on Polk and Halsted.
Okay.
And he remodeled it and made it six apartments for different people, but his apartment was the best. He made it 6 rooms, but the rest were 4. I don't know how many there
Yeah.
were, about 5.
So can you talk a little bit about high school and
Yes.
what we know as Goya? What did you call it back then?
Yeah, in 1946, we decided to start the club, Holy Trinity, Victoria Katzens and myself. And we were in Goya and the OY. We used to call it the OY.
The OY.
And we had the clubs and meeting once a month in the church and everything. And we had lots of dancing to earn money. St. Basil's wasn't too far from us, so we got together lots of time with the Basils and everything else. But we had a great neighborhood. I'll never forget it. And I thought it was the best.
Yeah.
And all of us were Greek and all the better. And we had St. Basil's, Holy Trinity. Well, we had TBC's not too far on Harrison down there. And St. George was off of Halsted.
Yeah.
And there's another
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
We used to patronize all the churches, go to certain churches with the OY, with the club, and go to those churches.
Yeah. Can you, let's go back a little bit. Can
Yeah.
you talk about how old were you when you got your first job and talk a little bit about what you did?
Well, I worked in Delajanis because to work myself through school, because my father got all of us permits. We all went to Austin. And you had to have a permit because my mother didn't like the school that was in the neighborhood. There was nothing wrong with it, but she was Greek, so you could tell her that. And we went to Austin, and I worked in Delajanis 3 hours after school and Saturday and Sunday, because my father thought, couldn't afford it. He had all his kids, you know. And we only needed car fare for the L. We used to take the L to Pine Street.
For school?
Yes, all
Okay.
the time. It used to be under the L there.
Okay.
Your mother, but your mother had just graduated. I just started and George followed me. So we all graduated from Austin High School.
Okay. But how old were you when you went to work?
I was
So
13.
Delajanis is the grocery store under your building,
13 in the building. And I used to go up and down, you know, just there. And I used to work. I learned to do the job well. Cheese, olives, you know, the Greek stuff. And a lot of nice Greek people we had there. And otherwise, when I left there, I went to Greece. Let me drink a little water.
So the trip to Greece was 1949?
Right, June the 16th. My mother wanted to go back to go and see her mother. In the mile, they didn't allow the letters to go to Greece or back, and we didn't know her mother had passed away. So she wanted to go after 35 years, so my father says, you know, Bessie, you'll have to take your mother to Greece. Okay. I said, I don't mind it, but you know, Pa, how could I do all this, traveling, my mother? You couldn't go straight with the airplane. We had to go to New York, and we had to stay over hotel. I was only 20 years old, 21 years old, and I never did anything, didn't know any better. But I said, okay. We went to Greece. We got to Greece in her hometown. Her mother was passed away 3 years already.
That's too bad.
She was sitting in this chair waiting for her daughter. That's all she had. She had 4 boys and the daughter. So otherwise, we stayed 6 months. In the meanwhile, we were in Greece. We were with their future mother, her grandmother. Your
sister?
father was going out with my sister in the meanwhile, and they got engaged. And how they got engaged, he used to work for candy, and he bought a box of candy, and in the middle, he had the engagement ring. And he says, Georgia, oh, she loved chocolate. We all love chocolates, that's for sure. Oh, she said, they're good, Louie. He said, look further, Georgia, look further. Finally, she looked. It was the engagement ring. They got engaged, and we stayed in Greece till December the 1st and came back, and they had planned their wedding, May the 21st.
But you're in Greece with who? Your mom and you.
And your mother-in-law.
And in the same village, my dad's mom was there.
And she did.
They knew each other. My two grandmas knew each other before.
Yeah, we knew each other.
You took a ship from New York to Greece and home, right?
Right.
So now my 2 yayas and Aunt Bessie are on the ship coming home.
Do you remember the name of the ship?
The name of the ship?
Alas.
Nea Alas.
A Greek ship, all Greek guys, all the sailors, everybody were Greek.
So you come back, you go through New York again, you get to Chicago.
Well, we're ready to get to, we come to New York, we get to Chicago, we hailed a cab. And the cab driver was their son, their mother, her
My
husband.
dad's brother.
They haven't seen in 5 years.
After the war, they kind of lost him.
Sure.
Well, he got married and.
Okay, so he's in the cab. They haven't, and is it the 3 of you in the cab? The 2 yayas and you?
Yeah, that's
right?
all. 3 of us.
So mother and son driving the cab reunite. They go home, and then you find out about the engagement.
Yeah.
That this was now going to be your relative, the woman you spent time in Greece with, right?
Right.
Oh,
and she took her all over. Thank God. I did my own with all the younger people. And her mother-in-law, or her grandmother, took my mother to their hometown where she was, not too far. They walked all the way. And they used to have a good time. She passed her time, thank God.
That's good. So let's go back to the neighborhood. Let's talk about, like, when you were in your 20s, where did you hang out and who would you hang out with?
Victoria Katz's.
So still people from the building.
Yeah, Catherine and
what was the hangout place? So people from the building still.
We used to go to the Hall House.
Yeah, but afterwards you'd go, like, where'd
we
you go
used to-
late at night?
Athens. Athens, the cocktail place, especially when it was warm. We had no air condition. So we all went to the Athens on the corner and sat in there until a certain time, and then we came back home where it was hot. We only had the fans. We never had air conditioning. Only the fans. And that's it. We hung out. So we used to go to the meetings once a month, I told you.
Yeah,
And we used to go to Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
That was on Taylor and Newberry.
yeah.
There's where the church was at the time. So, and then we had the social. We had a lot of social. That's the way we got together. We used to, a lot of our getting together got married. Met each other and got married and helped a lot of Greek people. It was a good life. I can't complain.
And
Never.
Do you remember where the Athens was? What streets it was on?
What did he say?
Where was the Athens located?
Oh, Halsted and Harrison, right on the corner.
Halsted and Harrison.
Right on the corner. Opened a restaurant in the back. It used to be a grocery store. And then they opened the Athens, and there's where we spent a lot of time. The bartender's name was Nick, a nice bartender. He used to take care of all of us. And we even went in there, had a bowl of soup. They didn't care, as long as you just sat
Had
and,
something.
have something and enjoy. And everybody, we used to get in there all together, all of us, family-wise and everything. So otherwise, but
I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I want to ask you about the story because I always think it's so interesting about when you were young and you would go to the cemetery.
my father died.
No, before, when
Oh.
you were kids, how
Yeah.
would you get to the cemetery? So they're living down here,
We used to,
and the cemetery's in River Grove, Elmwood.
but we used to go with a train. My sister's godfather died, and we took a train.
Yeah,
That was something different.
yeah.
That's the way we used to go to the cemetery, with a train. But otherwise, after
And
that,
what would you do when you were there besides visit the graves?
well, we used to take a little basket, take a little cheese, bread, different thing, like a picnic. We all got together with other people there, and we enjoyed the cemetery. It was nice. Now, it's one of the difference of today, and not nice people.
It's a little harder
Running.
there, but it was more like you would spend the
Family.
day, right?
Right.
And it was
like
on
a
s-
picnic.
like a Sunday.
Yeah,
so you're
Sunday.
there for a long time, so you need the food, and they would literally
it.
sit and have a picnic at the
And
cemetery.
at the same time, right. And another thing, I don't know if you ever heard the Riverview. I have to talk about the Riverview.
Okay.
You know Riverview?
Yeah.
We used to go there on picnics too, because the rides on a Sunday.
So what was Riverview? People don't know what was
Oh,
Riverview.
Riverview had all the shoots,
An amusement park.
amusement park.
Okay.
Shoots is
And shoots, it was a boat. You go all
like
the
a
way
log
up.
flume, what we call today, the log ride, and you get wet.
Yes.
Roller
That was-
coasters.
I loved it. My sister, I wouldn't go on these rides. She used to go all the way on the parachute, and the parachute would come down. Then we used to go with the streak. The bobs, never. See, I'm not a daring young lady like my sister Georgia. She was
She did
very
all that?
daring. She went on everything. Jenny and Georgia,
Yeah.
but the parachute, I would never go on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Never. And we used to picnic there too on a Sunday or a weekday. They had cheaper prices for like 2 cents and that.
Yeah.
We used to go with the family. Then we used to go also to Navy Pier. But
sure.
Navy Pier was nothing, like just an old tunnel. And we used to go there with food also, pass the time. That's all we had to do.
Mhm.
Growing up, we didn't have much like the deal today, and they're still complaining.
And then
They
what?
still complain.
Yeah. What about baseball? So talk about baseball with
Yes.
your dad.
My father took us to baseball in 1940. We used to sit in the bleachers, 25 cents. He was also a baseball guy, and he'd take all of us. We used to go quite often. We used to take pictures. In fact, the pictures are by your sister, I think, huh?
I have it.
You have them?
I
Phil
have
Caravera and all them?
Phil Cavaretta. So on the Cubs, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
took pictures with them.
Yeah, on the
Because-
field.
And the field, yeah, we did do that. They were very down, but we did so much. We didn't miss
Yeah.
nothing like they do today,
Yeah.
and we never complained either.
So if you were born in 1926,
Yes,
you're almost 97 years old.
I am September the 30th. Remember that, Jerome?
I will remember that.
And when you were born, you're heading into the Depression. You're
Right. Well,
you're
we
child
were.
number 5.
1929.
So how did you guys manage with food and everything else?
Okay,
How was
now,
that heading
what's
into
the
the
only
Depression?
good thing about our food? Delagianis was an owner of this place, and
The
we
grocery?
Yes, we used to go and put everything down. He didn't care, a credit. We pay him back. Everybody, that was everybody in the building. We were the only ones, and then we used to buy, and then we always had the food. Never failed us. The lamb chops was our favorite in the house, and the spaghetti, my brother John's homeless food, spaghetti and cheese and butter. That was our favorite for
So
Sunday.
he calls it kind of the poor man's meal,
Poor
right?
man.
Is that why? Yeah.
Yes, he said you
If you don't
want
have a lot of
poor
money,
man's
spaghetti.
meal? And my mother, we used to go to church every Sunday. Chicken was our favorite. And she used to cook. And then she told her mother one day, she didn't come to church, start the spaghetti, and when we come home, we'll be ready. Her mother put the whole 3 pounds. My mother was hysterical. That's what we learned. She never taught us. She always wanted to do the cooking, my mother. She didn't want us to do anything. She did everything. But they still learned how to cook when they got married. I mean, I'm not a cook yet. I like to travel. I like to do different things. The home, it's okay. but
No,
I'm not
she makes
crazy
the
about
best
it.
Greek spaghetti ever,
Yeah.
and a lot of other things. But yeah,
Now I
became
do.
a good cook.
Yeah. I didn't like that at the beginning. The spaghetti, my brother used to eat it all the time. But I got used to it, and it is good. It's a
Delicious.
fast meal and very good. That's it.
Delicious.
Yeah, I even got her children. They love it. They call it the
can't-
Greek spaghetti.
They can't wait till she comes and she makes
the Greek spaghetti.
because I can't make it the way she can make it. So they wait for her.
Yes. But they are good cooks. They took after their mother, especially pastry. She's one of the best with all the
My
pastry.
mom made a lot of pastries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she did a lot.
You have a lot of good stories. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's why I grew up to be like I am. And I don't know, I'm the the fifth. Why I'm still here. They're all dead, you know that.
Oh, no.
All my sisters and my brothers are not around. But I'm still here, so I don't know why. And I'll tell you, I'm in this place now. I had a condo on Higgins in Central. And I'll tell you the truth, I didn't want to give it up, but I had no choice. But I'll tell you, I have nothing wrong with me. Outside of pills, that's it. But I have no
You take
aches or
medicine.
pains, But I am a diabetic also. I have to tell you that. That's another thing.
You're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
A
So
life well lived.
otherwise,
Very
I'm still
much.
here.
We're glad you are.
Yeah, they're all
You're-
happy.
You're our family's treasure and the national treasure. So
That's it.
I'm glad you could share your story.
And I always like to close by asking. That's a question we ask most of our interviewees here. If you have any bit of advice for the young Greek Americans right now, or just the young people in general right now, if there's anything you can think of that you might like to share with them.
What advice would you like to give to young Greek Americans or young people overall?
I like to give their advice to appreciate everything they get, because I know a lot of them don't. But I think they're wrong because their mother and father give them the best. I know, I could tell from my niece. I lived with her in Minneapolis. I used to go. I know how she takes care of these kids and what she does for them. My mother would never do that. Never in a minute. She was good and all that, but you had to do things for yourself.
It's different. Yeah.
A different world, but I wish they would look down and advise. Look, she's got a 17-year-old son. He already got his car. I could never buy a car, even if it was so cheap. I used to take the buses or the streetcars, but they're already driving, and their car is waiting for them. They don't even have to buy it. It's right in the family. You know, it's a wonderful thing. I wish the young people would take a little advice and appreciate mothers and fathers, because they do a lot more than my mother or father ever did. They could afford it. I'm not complaining. I had a father, I had a mother, wonderful. My mother had always cooked. We always had food on the table, even though we weren't rich, but we appreciated it.
Very
Very
good,
good.
and a life well lived. In a great neighborhood too. It was so nice hearing so much about Greektown.
Yeah.
It's really nice that you were here with us today and sharing these stories. I know people really
And
appreciate
I'm
it.
very thankful. I haven't got the family that I grew up with, but I have nephews and nieces. And I never got married and don't have any children. And I don't know if I'd have them, what I would do, because they have been. Bettina is one of the best. She doesn't, you see, she has everything taken care of. All that. She does that in advance, everything. Nick Powers, he's great too, but he's a bachelor, and he never, learned how to do everything for everybody.
He helps you a lot, though.
Yeah,
he helps
he's
you a
there
lot.
for
yeah.
me.
And family's really important. It's
So-
really important.
I know, I can't complain.
Yeah.
I haven't got my own, but I got them.
You have us. You do
Yeah,
have your own.
That's what
it's
I
us.
said. I got you. I don't know what I would have done, but I got you.
What do you think? Should we go tour the museum next?
Yeah.
See some
How about
other
it?
stories?
Excellent. Well, thank you again for sharing your story with us today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.